This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
So funny. As we begin, I'm looking and all I can see in the foreground is a tail wagging, as it should be. We're talking today about PPD, personal protection dogs, and how that looks, how they are trained, what their function is. Lots to talk about. Getting to your emails too at instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com, and so much more with the woman behind the Animal Psychology Center. She works on behavior. She communicates with animals, specifically dogs, and it's so great to have Katherine Andrews back with us. How you doing today?
Hey, excited about what we're going to talk about.
Before we do anything, can we get an update on our friend Murray?
Yes, little Murray, the miniature dachshund, went home with one of my pack members that he took a shine to. He was a little guy that had a lot of anxiety and he was barking, and they live in an apartment complex, so they can't have him creating that kind of disturbance. And So, when he left here, he was doing great. He was self-soothing. So when you left him alone, he didn't freak out. Well, when he went home, the first couple of days he did great, but then he started to go back to old habits, which is always totally normal because he's testing them to see what's the rules. Can I break the rules here? Because I always have. And once we corrected those pathways in the brain here, we have to correct them at home too. So they were worried, and I said, this is totally normal. But what I found out in talking to them was that they weren't giving Murray a good enough correction. So and I was kind of worried about that because both of them the mom and dad have very sweet energy. And when people have a very sweet energy, many times other people or animals don't take them as seriously as they should. So we had to talk about them actually making eye contact with him, touching him physically, and telling him no. So, we're kind of giving him a strong message instead of what they were doing is just opening up the crate and going, no, Murray. Murray only 9 pounds, but he's got a lot of, he has a high level of confront. So when you have a person or a dog or a horse or anything that is more dominant, you have to, with your correction, be stronger. So we'll do another update next week and we'll see if he's going to take those corrections from them. But I might have to make a house call and actually, actually get in there and show them what I mean, because I always say, really a big part of what I do is teach leadership to people. And that's because we have very few leaders among our population. If everybody was a leader, we wouldn't survive, right? So leadership it has to be taught to probably 95% of the people out there.
Yes, and part of that leadership starts with you.
Mm-hmm.
We're leading ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't effectively lead you, how can you lead someone or a dog?
Right. And we talked about how dogs would, in their wisdom, which they have a wisdom that's different than ours, and it surpasses ours in some ways, they would not follow Hitler because Hitler was angry, mean. His whole demeanor was negative, and dogs wouldn't follow that. That's not good leadership, and dogs wouldn't follow it. So,
and what you're referring to, I would imagine, is the dogs pick up on somebody's energy and can feel it right away. Like, no matter who it is.
Always. Dogs are usually way ahead of you in looking at someone and figuring out who they are, what their intentions are. But if you are a little bit ambivalent or you're a little bit timid with a dog like Murray, he will not follow your direction. So you have to get in there and really let him know that he has leadership. And you're not doing something mean by doing that. You're doing him a favor, because when he feels like there's leadership, then he can relax. And that's been his biggest problem. He just can't relax. He's so worried. He's a very worried little guy.
Would you
So we'll
say,
see.
I love the fact you make house calls. Would you say that dogs and children are very similar in that they crave direction? So many kids, especially, when they get to the tween years, they're defiant. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Blah, blah, blah. They really want you to show them the way, put the
Yeah.
boundaries up.
Yes. Yep. That's what they're asking you for, actually, when they do that. They are asking you, can I relax around you? Are you going to lead me? If I throw you a few curveballs, are you going to stay the distance?
Mm,
How sure are you about this leadership? So expect them to throw distractions, and then you just calmly deal with it. If you're confident, calm, and kind, those are my three big words:
mm,
confident, calm, and kind. That's great leadership, and your dog will follow you. But part of the confidence is in giving a strong correction when it's needed. And when the brain is freaking out, like Murray was, he's just barking and he's all freaked out. You have to really get in there and in his face and go, stop, you're fine. And if you don't, if it's a weak correction, you're not going to interrupt that behavior. Does that make sense?
mm.
It's just too high
Totally.
level. You have to
Totally.
get right up there and
Yeah. You have to lovingly correct it. And so many of us, we're afraid to, even with our kids, afraid to be a
yeah,
leader and stand up. And I
yeah,
totally get it.
yeah.
I mean, because you also want to be loved. That's our fundamental for all of us. We want to be loved. So, if you're going to come on strong to your kid or your dog, you might think they're not going to love you. They're going to love you for it even more, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. 100%. And everybody has to have leadership in their own relationships. Everybody has to be a leader at times.
Mm. Let's talk
Good.
about the PPD, personal, personal dog, no, personal protection dog.
Personal. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I do personal protection train, and a lot of dogs that are service dogs get double certified as a personal protection dog, especially for women, for children too. And I find that this is very necessary in the times that we live in. I
Mm.
myself have been kidnapped twice, and I did not have my dog with me, coincidentally by cab drivers. Isn't that weird?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I was kidnapped in Las Vegas by a cab driver and New Orleans by a cab driver. And I didn't have my service dog or personal
Jeez.
protection dog with me. And I was actually, one time I was dropping off a dog in New Orleans for someone. And on the leg home, I didn't have a dog, which is why I don't do that anymore. If I fly a dog to somebody, I travel with that service dog that I'm going to bring to them. And I travel with my service dog too,
Wow.
so
And
that I have protection on the way home.
you did share a story last time we got together about a situation where somebody was at your front door. Um, and I'm not getting into the details again, but your dog was not having it and knew right away, we have a problem over here, and let
Yeah, right away.
you and that
Mhm.
person know.
Right, right.
Hmm.
And people who intend harm will take one look at a dog, even if it's a small dog. They've done research on this. If it's a small dog, they don't want to mess with the dog because even small dogs are too loud and they can bite.
Yep.
But certainly, if you have a medium to large dog, and I see this happen time and time again, say I'm in Walmart parking lot and there's a gentleman that's given me a vibe that is not quite respectful. And my dog, I have a Cane Corso right now. She will focus on him. She'll step out. She opens up her chest, ears go up, and she looks at him like, "What are you looking at?" And every single time, that guy will turn around and walk away.
Hmm.
So, yeah, a lot of those stories on Dateline, because I watch Dateline, a lot of those stories on Dateline, I'm sitting there when I'm watching it going, that would have never happened if they had a dog, personal protection dog.
So
I
what
probably wouldn't have a show, Steve.
we underestimate that our dogs know. They already sized up the person, the situation.
Right.
How do what qualifies for a personal protection dog?
Generally, you want a dog that has uh, those genes. You want a dog from what I call the power breeds. Great Dane, German Shepherd. My dog is a Cane Corso. They were bred specifically for protection, but I can do an evaluation and find out if a dog is going to be a good personal protection dog, because I have trained quite a few labs and golden retrievers to be personal protection dogs. It's not the norm, but um, depends on if they have the talent for it.
Are you able to figure that out from the beginning?
Yes, yes, I can find out if that dog will confront a human, and
Hmm.
a lot of dogs won't. You know, I had somebody bring me a golden retriever one time. They really wanted this dog to be a personal protection dog. He was a big guy too. He was like 90 pounds. And I did the evaluation. And when I did something that was a bit threatening towards them, he ran behind the couch. So I said, yeah, this dog's not going to protect himself, let
Hmm.
alone you. So you just kind of have to figure that out. And if they do have it in their genetics or in their makeup, that's a job that they want because they're well suited for it.
I
But you got to figure it out.
in my dog, he's only like 21 pounds. I've just playing with the kids around and everything. And if I go to, or they even do it to me and raise a hand, or even
Mhm,
just like that, just a little
mhm.
slap on the wrist, he goes into freak mode. He starts barking. He's like I'm not. It's almost if he's
Yeah.
saying, "Stop doing that. I'm not having that. That's not working for me." Signs like that, would that make that type of dog a good personal
Yeah,
protection
that's
dog?
that's part of what I ask people is what does he do when someone even fake hits or gets a little bit angry? Does he step in?
Mm.
And those are the dogs that your dog would definitely protect you. Just you telling me that, I know that if somebody was even thinking about harming you, he's going to let you know.
Even when somebody comes over, and it could be somebody he's seen before, if it's a guest in the house, he will bark. And it's not, I don't believe he's saying, Dad, we have a problem. Who's this person? It's just a different situation. And that's how he
Yeah,
verbalizes it. He's like, man, what do we
yeah,
got over here? What's going on? And
yeah.
sometimes I have to say, calm down a little bit. We're good. But
Yeah, yeah. Well, to me that sounds like a different kind of bark. He might be excited
yeah,
that they're there, and he might actually even be sort of setting a tone like, "This is my place." Hey, you
yeah,
need to watch your P's and Q's.
I never thought of it that way. I got goosebumps. You're right. I didn't think of that. I didn't
Yeah,
think of
isn't that
that.
funny?
He's just letting everybody know I'm the top dog, if you will. And
Hmm.
and why do I say that? A couple of years ago, I took him to a dog park. First time, it's horrible, but I never took him to one. And we get there, and there's dogs running around, and they're doing their thing, and he starts running with them a little bit. But before he did anything, he jumped up on a park bench with his front legs up, extended, and started barking and looking around like, "Bark, bark, 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 bark," and then jumped off and started running with the dogs. It's almost as if he was just what you said, trying to establish, hey, I'm over here. Don't mess with me, dogs. All right, let's go play.
Yeah. And what was cool about that is he got up on his throne. I
He
call
really
that
did.
when dogs get up on a chair or couch to make a point known because he's small. He was announcing, "I'm here to play. I'm friendly, but I want you guys to know
Yep.
that if anybody gets rough with me or my dad, I'm gonna be there." Yeah, that's very smart. You're a really smart, cool
Yeah, I
guy
take
there.
it, you know what it is, Catherine? I think like many dog owners, I take it for granted. I don't realize what's going on there because you're part of it. It's everyday life. But when you take a step back, it's like, yes, some of the behaviors of our dogs are, well, we're good. You want to get to some emails?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
excited. Let's talk.
Instant feedback, steve@gmail.com. This one coming from Kelsey, who is in Portland, and says, I trim my dogs and cats' nails, but they're not big fans of it. Any suggestions on how to make this easier?
Well, you can make the reward afterwards worth it. Um, when you
Hmm.
do intend to do this and you get ready, one thing I would encourage you to do is get your mind in a really good place. So don't be anticipatory, like, oh no, I got to do this, and they're going to act out. Just get yourself in a calm place. Better if we don't have a lot of activity going on, and if you can get somebody to hold your dog, that's always a good thing. And you want to hold them right behind the elbow, which their elbow is way high, because when you hold behind the elbow, they can't move their leg. And
Hmm.
that makes it more comforting for them, just knowing that you can't move your leg, because that's kind of when you mess up, is when they jerk it back or move it. And then afterwards, and you can let them know, you could say, okay, we're going to go to the park, or we're going to go for a ride, or we're going to go bye-bye, but we got to do this first. I mean, they totally understand. And have that little conversation, set your tone by being calm and confident, and then get it done. Got somebody to help you, great. And then do the reward. And that will change the tone of what you're trying to get done.
Should you, and I'm saying this because we've talked about the communication when you are going to trim your animal's nails, should you be mentally thinking, okay, this is going to be fun. We're going to do this. It's going to take a couple of minutes. It's going to be feel better for you, as opposed to, all right, I'm going over there. I got to get them before they run. I got to hide the
Yeah,
clippers because as soon as they see them,
yeah,
and now you've
yeah,
got anxiety. And should you mentally be sending that signal, like, this is going to be a good
absolutely.
time?
Yep, absolutely. We're gonna do this, we're gonna get it done, and you guys are gonna feel better for it. And afterwards, guess what? We're gonna do something fun. So you kind of got the carrot out in front of them there to give them some incentive to get it done.
Hmm. It's funny you said. I guess the word was behavior, because this is from Sam, Lincoln, Nebraska. Says, my dog is very, very driven by treats. Is it okay to rely on them for good behavior?
Well, yes and no. I do use treats to get from point A to point B when I'm training something, especially if I have a dog that's has an attention span that's pretty short. But you don't want to rely on them for good behavior. You want your relationship to be the number one reason that that dog is doing something for you. And I'll just tell you a really quick little story. I think it was Good Morning America, and this was some years ago, had a service dog that they were going to train. It was a puppy. It was a Labrador puppy. And the trainer was an animal behaviorist. She was a trainer. Had the dog on every month, and they would see the progress. She had a big bag of treats on her hip. Every time that dog did anything right, treat, 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 treat. And it was hard for me to watch after a while, because the treats never disappeared. And
Mm,
by the time the dog was ready to do his job, which was a little over 12 months, he wouldn't make eye contact with her. He would just stare at the treat bag. And so his relationship was with the treat bag. And she was missing that
mm,
part of the relationship that is the most important thing, which is for you to be, it's kind of like me. If I, every time you said something nice, I put a donut in your mouth, and it has to be about the relationship. So I would say, if you're using treats, you want to use them randomly or sparingly.
Is it is it good to rely on treats as routine? Like, for example, I'm just thinking now, it's popping in my head. I'm in the habit of when my dog is out, we're walking around, he goes to the bathroom. There are sometimes I will admit, potty for a treat, meaning I gotta get done here. Yeah.
Yes, that's good. I mean, we do that with kids too,
Okay.
because we want to get the job done. And we have a schedule and work and all that. And yeah, that is a good idea. When I have usually my pack of dogs, and then I'll have dogs, a couple dogs maybe that I'm training. And when I bring them in, everybody runs around and they're all crazy.
Yep.
So what I do is go over to the treat bar and pick out a treat for everybody. I have them make eye contact with me. I have them sit, calm down, take a breath.
Yep.
They get their treat, and then everybody disappears to a pillow bed or their spot, and they chew on the treat. So it takes the energy down. And I do the same thing at bedtime because I want bedtime to be a happy time. So I'll get treats, and everybody gets in there. They're really quick about it. I want to get in my crate because I want my treat first, and they get a treat. And dogs spend a lot of time. Wolves spend, and they all come from wolves. Spend a lot of time chewing, hours, every day. And so you want to make sure that in order for your dog to be happy emotionally, he has things to chew on every day. Small things that are like treats are good, but they need something long lasting that they can chew on. And that is very satisfying for them emotionally.
I never thought of that. I got to circle back on that one because I don't have things for my dog to chew on. Again, he's 22 pounds. He chews through everything, everything. There's nothing that lasts, even those Kong toys. Sometimes a piece of rubber, after a while, there's no satisfaction in the chewing of that.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm almost, I don't even know what to leave him anymore. He doesn't chew on furniture or shoes or anything like that. But I feel guilty now in you saying that because it makes sense and he would enjoy it. Give him something to do during the day,
Yeah. And there are, bigger pieces of rawhide or, things that they can't mow through really quickly. And especially when you go to work, I would leave him something like that because that is a big thing for dogs to chew on that and spend hours doing that. So that would make his time.
Yeah, I
alone.
just got to find the right one. Not that I'm a helicopter parent, but it's, I'm not around. And like I've given him, here's the ball, chew on that, blah, blah, blah. He gets right to the squeaker thing right away. And now I'm like, oh, yeah, choking hazard, or not the best thing for him to ingest.
Yeah.
Such a great tips. Anything you want somebody to know when it comes to treats while we're on that category right now? Anything that's standing out there that we should mention?
Some people swear by rawhide. Some people don't like it at all because their dog chews it up and throws it up.
Yeah.
You just have to figure out what's right for your dog.
Gotcha.
There's just so much out there. But you'll find something that is going to be satisfying for him, and he's not going to destroy it right away, eat it up right away.
I love your insight and the way you present it because it's so clear and easy to understand. Like, others, it might be, this is just, it's so practical. That's what I'm going. That's where I'm going. Everything you share is so practical, and just eye-opening. Like even me, you're leaving him for something to chew. I never even thought of that. He's probably damn bored,
Yeah, absolutely. And they even have these puzzles now for dogs that you can leave them with treats in them, and they have to figure it out. You kind of rearrange it every day. So that might be something to look into too. And thank you for that compliment, by the way. I grew up lower middle class, so kind of poor. And so we got to figure out, what to do to keep the dog busy.
Yeah. Oh, listen, I made my own toys when I grew up. So we didn't have money.
Right.
Absolutely. Katherine, always great having you on. How do we find you? If somebody's got questions, they want to work with you, even if it's a personal protection dog, how do they find you?
Animalpsychologycenter.com. Drop me an email or just send me a text, give me a call.
Beautiful. Thank you for being here today, and happy Thanksgiving to your family and the furry ones as well.
Yes. Yeah, you too, Steve. Take care.
We'll be right back.
Bye-bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.